By agreement with the Mayor, Councillor Bobani, I will not make any statements at this time, at this press briefing. That was agreed to at the meeting between myself and the councillors present. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, City Manager. The first question is, the former mayor is on air saying that he's going nowhere. Well, it's his opinion on air. We are also not going to entertain what the other person is saying in the media. Our most important thing is now we are going to get to our offices. We are bringing stability in the Nelson Mandela Metro. We are very concerned about the services our people are waiting for. That's all we can say, ladies and gentlemen. We are also not going to, say, no, you are going whatever. But the fact of the matter is that there was a resolution of the council yesterday, and that resolution of the council has been carried, and we are now at work. The other one.
How is the mayor going in?
How is the mayor going in? No, I told you that the city manager is actually doing his administration. By 2 o'clock, all of us will be getting to our offices. And the pending cases against the city manager, let us actually wait for the processes of the law to take its course. We will cross that bridge when we arrive. Right now, the two of us are working well. He's the city manager. Professionally, so to speak, I'm the executive mayor. What actually makes us to come together is to ensure that we're working together for the interest of our communities. Is that the last one?
Yeah, yes. That was the last one.
Thank you very much.
Any more questions, colleagues, before we close?
Just the last.
Yeah, last one from SABC and the other one from Jade. Yeah.
Okay. Again, City Manager, I just want to find out, from yesterday up until now, have you had any interaction with the MEC for local government, Mr. Fikile Kasa, with regards to this matter in Nelson Mandela Bay? And if you do, what are the discussion between the two of you? On your side, Mr. Mayor, I just want to find out, I can see there's a gender balance in the mayoral committee, but I just wanted to find out, besides the gender balance, I'm not sure about diversity. What criteria did you use to actually select the members of this committee?
Yes, let me first answer the one for the city manager. Ladies and gentlemen, we have instructed the city manager not to really communicate anything of what had happened yesterday and today. And can we then please respect that? Because when we discuss with him, some of the things might end up somewhere. And we have requested him to just concentrate on the administration. That's his work. We will deal with the politics. And
how did you select it?
Well, you've said yourself around the selection of the mayoral committee. It's not an all-men mayoral committee. It's a gender balance. It's a gender balanced one. We got a very capable and good woman that we have actually selected. Remember that even the selection, yes, I am pronouncing the selection, but this is the government. This is a collective government. So there was a proper consultation amongst all parties. And then there was also processes that actually go through. You remember that some of the parties, there are processes that they must go through before they can be able to say that this is the candidate that we are actually giving the collective government. So everything went through that process. And when even we have a meeting with our national leaders, you did hear that our national leaders were clear to us. When you appoint the mayoral committee, please, it must be gender balance. And they said that they are not compromising on that one. everything must be a gender balance. So we promised them that we're going to do that. So that's how today you find out that we are having a mayoral committee that is actually gender balanced. It's because we had to make sure that we are in compliance with our Constitution of South Africa. Thank you very much.
I think this is the last one, colleagues. This is the last one. Yourself and Manuel.
Thank you.
Yeah, just the three. Yes. Let's start there and come to you and then finish here. This is the last round. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, the Mayoral Committee, we cancelled yesterday, and we observed how the city manager stayed hide and seek with you. Do you think that he can be trusted as city manager? This new
the next one.
Executive Mayor, very briefly, you've just committed to being ready for work. And the question I have is that very critically, part of being ready for work is engaging on the IDP meetings. When will you be ready for that? But also, secondly, very briefly, I understand I've been sitting in political meetings and in councils, we always talk about the more the merrier. There is one particular figure that I expect might come knocking before the end of this week. What are you going to say when Madam Daniels comes? And in his negotiation, demands to be the deputy mayor. Will you accept it?
Okay.
Yes, not
This question is for all Councillor Mzila. In my previous conversations, when the August 15th meeting collapsed or ended in chaos, and Marlon having a change of heart, going back to the coalition, Councillor Mzila said to the effect of going in a coalition with the EFF because of their flip-flopping and going back and forth with changing their minds about who should have potentially been in your seat. They don't want to be in a coalition with a party that can hold guns to their heads in terms of going their way, going their way. So I just wanted to ask for Councillor Mzila, what's changed in that respect and how you felt in the previous council meeting?
May I respond?
Yes.
Now, then, it was a principled decision that was taken by national leaders in terms of process that was used to select the mayor and the deputy mayor. At that point in time, we had two lists, and we have sent them to the national leaders. Out of that collective, one of the lists that actually listed Daniel as the mayor emerged. And out of that process, we believe it was democratic. And we said, as a matter of principle, the process was fair, and no one have a right to move out of that process and come up with his or her own resolution. We stick to the principle of the process. Now, there was an evolution in terms of that process. As you know, Marlon ran away again. So we remain. Ran away. You know, Marlon flip-flop. But as a result of that, we had another process, because Marlon is no longer there. And out of that process, we have decided collectively, because you know, in a group where there are divergent views, you need to reach a consensus. There is no way that you can dictate in terms of what you impose on others. You need to understand, out of those different views, we are coming from different political backgrounds. But in that setup, you need to reach compromises. You need to look to the vision. You need to be futuristic in your approach. And our main objective then was to overthrow the administration of the Democratic Alliance. And out of that process, we thought, no, let us reach consensus, all of us, because we want to reach that consensus. So the issue of the EFF and us was either here or there. It was a petty matter. in terms of the principle that we have at that time. So there is nothing that have changed, but it's just matters have evolved. And we are in this setup today. Because of that view that we came up as a new view, we have this mayoral committee today. Because if we didn't compromise on ourselves, we will have not achieved the objective that we have set for ourselves. Hence the United Front take that view that we place people before. We don't place parties or individuals. We put people of the metro. And as a result of that process, we see this new mayoral committee, this new administration. I'll just end there in terms of answering that question. Yeah.
If I may answer the question from the gentleman regarding the allegations and between the executive mayor and the city manager. Look, the position of the allegations are from the then Councillor Bobani. At the time, he was not the executive mayor. And now we have a government, a collective government, that if there are any allegations against anyone, he must first come to us, present us with evidence, and convince us there is enough for us to warrant a full investigation. So for now, Mr. Yohan Metla is the city manager appointed by council in 2016 for the term of 5 years. So that is the position of this government for now. We have no issues, as it was stated before, that we've engaged with him. Everything is according to, is running smooth. So we have no issues. If there's anything the executive mayor feels needs to be brought to the attention of this collective, he will bring that, and then we will deal with that. But as we are now, Mr. Yohan Metla is the municipal manager. There's no issues. And this item has not even been debated in council, because we believe there were issues. We have not debated that. Also, if I may, the issue of Councillor Daniels, whether he decides to come and join this collective, we have seen in the past that there was a concept of the more the merrier. Now we cannot close doors on anyone, and we will engage other parties. That must be out. We are not hiding that. We will engage anyone who would be willing to work with us, and we will share with them our vision for the city. If they believe that we can work together, we will work with anyone. With all the parties, we will engage with the ACDP, we'll engage with COPE, we'll engage with the Patriotic Alliance. That is something that we're going to do, because we know that we need stability. We need a government that is going to be there for the people, because this thing of motions every time, it creates something for the people. So we need to make sure that that is done away with, and we service the people. So I think that covers that question. I'm not sure if we want Chief wants to.
Okay, let me just give over to the Chief Whip, and then Councillor Lungisa will also come and also sum it up. With questions and answers, colleagues, let's rather go for one-on-ones now. If one is not yet satisfied with some questions that he has asked, let's take politicians one-on-one, but for now, Chief Whip and then Councillor Lewis.
Thank you very much. On the last question around any councillor or individuals who want to join us, Deputy Mayor has already confirmed that our door is open, but what is must be quite clear that we are not going to act out of desperation. We all know that this is a number game. We need numbers. We'll do that, but not out of desperation. And yes, before this week ends, you must expect that there will be surprises. People will be knocking they've already knocked our doors, and they will discuss that. we will put forward principal issues, you know. You must also understand that many of these parties, they work in the same constituency as ours. We all work for the same constituency. And the more they come to us, the better it is, because we service almost the same constituency. So any party that is left behind, they're going to suffer the consequences, you know. And in fact, in any council meeting, there's no party that can oppose our position when we say that we want to direct services to our communities, because they know that if they oppose that, they will lose support in our constituencies. So yes, we expect people to come, and there were indications from yesterday that people are willing to come and negotiate, but they are not going to put demands. We'll sit and look at the issues and agree collectively. This matter we have agreed before we concluded that, look, there will be no bully boys amongst ourselves or girls. Who will have to meet and have a consensus. We'll make sure that before we go to council, we discuss matters, we agree on issues, then we put the issues in council so that our council meetings become productive. We want order in our council meeting. We want them to be productive. We want all items to be processed in our council meetings, you know, so that we don't reach a situation where we don't process matters, council meetings are disrupted. We have seen a very unique thing yesterday, you know. We have been labeled as naughty boys and girls by the DA. But they left the council meeting yesterday. It's a funny thing.
Cowards.
And we saw them doing something funny that does not suit them. Toy-toying, singing, and funny things. That does not suit you. It's not yours. You do not know toy-toy. That is our thing. Don't do things that you do not know. You do toy-toy wrongly. You don't know how to do it. You see. Stop that thing. You are making a mockery out of yourselves. Stick to what you know best. And what you know best is to make sure the rich people get richer. That's what you know. And ours is to make sure that our people who are poor, they get better. We better their conditions. So we stick to that. That's what we are doing as this coalition. We have a common arrangement here. Oh, yes. We're getting our services, we're getting our voters from the same area. Oh, we can't have serious problems. We have something common that binds us. We're all saying that we are going to be fighting for the poor people. That binds us across, you know. So there's much common. There was nothing common between yourselves and, say, Marlon. I don't think there's something common between yourself and Marlon, you know. It does not really service your constituency. We have everything common with him because his very constituency is the one that will service, we always fight for in council meeting. So this is going to be a very concrete arrangement because we've got something common that binds us concretely. Forget that at any point in time it will collapse. It won't collapse. It's a concrete arrangement because it's a principle that binds us together here. Thank you.
Councillor
Thank you. Over to you,
No, thank you very much. I think what I'm going to deal with is a wrong narrative, which is championed by the DA, where they are using the neo-colonial media. All media platforms, they are peddling a wrong narrative. Sometimes they know the constitution of this country. They will claim to know the constitution of this country whilst they don't know the constitution of the country. Because there's a constitution of the country, there are a number of legislations which are attached to that constitution. It seems like they read certain chapters in the constitution, they don't read the legislation. Yesterday, we must kill that narrative which they are trying to build. They failed dismally in that council meeting. Also, they are a political party, they must be able to read the political dynamics, which they failed. This leadership was elected because they failed to read the mood, even of their own councillors. Because you must also read the mood of your own troops. If you are going to war, there's what is called the third column. You must know when you are a commander, you go to war. It's what Trollip failed to do. Now is acting as Savimbi, who's somewhere in Cape Town, and then he's saying the mayor. We only learned that in Angola, where there was Savimbi in the forest, and then we are saying, no, I'm the president of Angola, fighting against MPLA. Is what he's doing is not the mayor of the city. He's not here in this city. He's the new Savimbi. He's got his own child, who's a suicide bomber called Ngababanga, who's going to all community radios, speaking No, I understand the constitution. Whilst it does not understand the pieces of legislation, the legislation is very clear. If you talk about the local government, the highest decision-making body is a council. We were in a council meeting yesterday. The speaker was voted out. When the speaker is voted out, the MM comes in. There were then challenges, the MM was not there. What you do when we have the majority, the act is very clear. You must elect an acting speaker amongst yourselves. Who's going to be the chairperson to preside over that meeting? You must read the court judgment of the Western Cape High Court on the issue of Pito municipality. They talk about the law, but they don't read the court judgments. They are very selective. If you do not elect, you must communicate with the MEC. The MEC must send official. We're very clear. We had two options. It's either we elect or we call the MEC. We said, let's not elect a councillor. Because a narrative which is going to be built by the media is that those comrades, they are hungry, they want to be mayors and everything else. We said, let's engage the office of the MEC. That's the first option. The MEC sent what? A senior official. And then a speaker was then elected. When a speaker is elected, the speaker will preside over other processes. That's why today we have a mayor, a deputy mayor, chief whip, and the mayoral committees. That was the process. We're simply saying, legally they can't go to court, but they will go to court because they've got a lot of money. Because we are talking about children who've got trust funds. They will use those trust funds to go to court, to go and waste their resources. The focus, as the mayor has spoken on the matter, is to focus on our communities, deliver services. We are very happy that the MM is very solid. We had a good meeting. We are working with the MM. We are marching forward. All of us are going to wear all-stars, not polish shoes, Nasboni all-stars, to make sure that we work. It takes 24 hours to deliver services. That's the approach. We must not be worried about those surveillance. They must go and talk. And then they will die there in the forest nicely. They are not going to come they will come here as ordinary councillors.
Thank you, colleagues. I think we are done. If one needs one-on-ones, they will indicate. Thank you very much for coming at such.
Thanks very much.